All right, it's now 6 o'clock p.m. GMT, and welcome to this fantastic webinar. Today, we are going just to unfold all issues related to writing proposal. And in fact, it's just to answer the questions that you guys have heard on how to submit a comparing proposal. So when you hear, please, you try to mute during this 1 hour conversation. And again, if you have a question, you can just really send it on the chat, or we can try to be your mouthpiece to read the questions. Well, thank you so much. I see on my chat, there's a lot of text people have written here. Okay, so I'm going just to read reaction. Where you from, guys? Okay, wonderful. Thank you for sending your text. Okay, this is, okay, I see one. This is Mr. Michael from Burkina Faso. Welcome, Michael. Wonderful. Who else? We have Mr. RASIFATU here. No, sorry. Hi, everyone. Hi, RASIFATU. Here is Henry from Cameroon. Perfect. Who else? Well, hello, everyone. I'm Zini from Nigeria. Welcome, Zini. Hi, everyone. Safina from Morogoro, Tanzania. Good to see you. This is Yehunia from Ethiopia. Wow. An English teacher and facilitator from Tanzania by name Johanna John Rupia. Wonderful, amazing. Amanzi from Songea, Tanzania. Very good. Christopher Happy from Tanzania. A lot of people from Tanzania. I see Morogoro. Greetings from Doha. Okon, very good. Hello, everyone. Iabo from Nigeria. Thank you so much for your text. And now, I would like now just to invite our presenter, who is YIVIRI RASIFATU. Hi, YIVIRI.
Hi, Muhammad.
Wow, good to see you. So I'm going to read her bio just in a few seconds. Well, YIVIRI is an English and literature teacher from Cameroon. She's a Fulbright T alumna and a Hornby scholar, presently completing an MED in teaching English to speakers at the University of Competition in 2023, and recently Special Interest Group grant travel to Malta. Her research areas include instructional technology and multilingual education for inclusive classroom. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big round of applause. We can pat your back as we're going to invite our super speaker, RASIFATU YIVIRI. All right. Okay, YIVIRI, the floor is yours now. You can start.
Thank you very much, Mahamba, for giving me the opportunity to present, to share my knowledge about proposal writing, conference proposal writing to be specific. And thank you to Africa ELTA and Telta for taking out this time to do this so that we can inform our teachers on how to write compelling conference proposals so that we can either meet in Tanzania during our Africa ELTA or in other conferences around the world. Now share my screen. Okay. So like we said earlier, the session is going to be on writing conference proposal specifically, not proposals for research in academics, but specifically writing conference proposals. And before we begin to talk about conference proposal, let me just say a word of welcome to all the people joining us from the different parts of the world. Welcome. to those who speak English, bienvenue to those people from French-speaking parts of the world, maybe French-speaking part of Africa too. Bienvenidos to those who speak Spanish. Karibu to my people from Tanzania, from Kenya, and Akwaba to my lovely people from Ghana, and I think Ivory Coast too, and a Cabo from the lovely people from Nigeria. I know that there are so many of them here. Thank you so very much for joining us tonight. And I would love to request that as we go on with the session, I would love you to say hello to everyone in the chat box in your language. So whether you're from Ghana, you're from Cameroon, wherever you're joining from, please do say hello to everyone in your language. Thank you very much. Okay, so our session for today is going to focus on these elements. We will begin with an icebreaker, and then we briefly look at what a conference proposal is. And then we dive into the components of a conference proposal. Then we look at the different session types that make up a conference. And then we look at the proposal evaluation rubrics. And then we move ahead to look at a sample proposal so that you can learn from what an accepted proposal looks like. And then we will also talk about feedback from rejected proposals. That would be our session for today. Good. I would love to find out from the audience if there are people who have submitted conference proposals before, or there are people who have not submitted any conference proposals before. So if you have submitted a conference proposal or if you've written a conference proposal before, please do indicate in the chat box very quickly. Let's see. And Muhammad, I'll be happy if you tell us about the people's experiences, if they have written conference proposals or not. Let's just hear what they are saying from the chat box.
Well, brilliant. I have a lot of popcorns text on the on the chats here. Some
Okay.
people are still writing Mambo, Habari. Those are the greetings. But this one writes, I haven't. This is from Cameroon, and this one Okon say submitted. This one is Chris Tom Mapunda say I haven't submitted, not submitted yet. I haven't. I have. So I have submitted. This is Onesimo Samuel. Amira Salama say I did. Wow, submitted. Mwanaidi Mwacha. I have submitted. So we have both submitted and not submitted. Go ahead.
Okay. All
Rasif.
right. Perfect. Thank you so much. So we begin our presentation. What is a conference proposal? I think for people who have not written a conference proposal before, that's the question that will be lingering in their minds. They'll be wondering what a conference proposal is. And a conference proposal is just that document that you put into writing and then you submit into a conference organizing committee to express your interest in presenting during a particular conference. It can be any conference. So you need to write, you need to submit, and then it needs to be evaluated to be judged if the proposal, if what you have written is fit to be accepted as a presentation during a conference. That is what a conference proposal is all about. And a conference proposal has different parts. So it's not like you just write maybe a paragraph or just a text, but a conference proposal is made up of different parts. We have a title, we have an abstract, we have a session description, and then we have references that accompany the conference proposal. Let us begin with the title. And I would love to hear from people What do you think is the maximum number of words that a conference proposal title should have? At least Africa ELTA conference proposal. What is the maximum number of words that a title should have, please? And we will be in the chat box.
Wow. Yeah, I see a lot of flow of the word 10 words. This is Asus, 10,
Yeah,
Letitia, 7, Zini writes, Godfrey Christian, 10 words. We have 12 words. This is
yeah,
Howard. Traore, 10 words. So 8 words, 10
it
words.
works.
So we have 10 words. Oh, thank you. Go ahead.
Hey, thank you so much for those reactions. Okay. I see opinions are divided. People have talking about 8, others are talking about 10, others 12. For Africa ELTA, the maximum number of words for a conference proposal is 10. So your title should not be above 10 words. If it is above 10 words, then you're already moving towards rejection. And before we continue, I would love to say from the very beginning that instructions are very important when it comes to proposal writing. You may have a very good write-up, but if you do not follow the instructions, your proposal risk being rejected. And it starts from the title that we are talking about now. So a conference proposal, Africa ELTA, maximum number of words is 10. And then let's talk about the words that are capitalized. Which are the words that are capitalized, please? We will be in the chat box to say which words are capitalized.
All right. Okay. So, we have a lot of the Letitia writes, content words, first
Okay.
letter of the main words, how content words, 181 at the beginning of the words,
Okay.
initial letters, content word, first keywords. Oh, wow. Amazing.
Perfect. Excellent. Yes. I think all those answers are correct. Initial letters of content words, of the keywords. Yeah, that's right. So we have sentence case. It is only words like maybe articles, prepositions like as, like and, but that are not capitalized. Every other content word, every other main word is capitalized for the title. And then the next thing we have is the abstract. What is an abstract in conference proposals? And what is the content of an abstract? Please, can you quickly tell us what makes up an abstract of a conference proposal?
All right. Keep sending them. Abby your mouthpiece, please. Sending them the chat. Wow. How I
Yeah.
writes quickly a summary of the whole work. Wow.
Okay.
Amazing. Okay. What else? Okay. It's similar to, and okay, this just go up. She writes, it's similar to the underwear, which covers the most important part. Come on. Abstract is the overview of the proposal, summary of your paper, objectives. This is Mr. Lauer. Okay. Wow. A short summary, Letitia. Zini, the summary of the presentation. Wow. Good.
Excellent. That was perfect. Yeah. So an abstract is just the summary of your presentation. And in what hands do we write the abstract, please? Thank you very much for being a very active audience. Thank you. In what hands do we
Uh,
write the abstract?
all right. Oh, wow. A lot of popcorns on the chart, call them the popcorns. This one, right? Simple present tense. That is naetwe. Hamed,
Okay.
right? Simple present. Rondi, abstract is the summary of the paper. Okay. Simple present tense. That is atem. Sefebe writes, good morning. Peter, present tense. Eli, simple present tense. Back to you.
Excellent. Brilliant audience. You're doing excellent. Yes. An abstract is written in the simple present tense. Yeah. And then what is the maximum number of words for an abstract? At least for Africa ELTA conferences. Let's hear from you.
Wow, send them, send them. One ID, 50 words. Okay, cool. Sincere, 50 words, 50 words. This is Joan Treffel. Okay. Zany, 250 words. Okay. Lovely, nice, 50 words. Letitia, 50 words. Victoria, 100 words. Mercy, 150 words. All right. Back to you.
Okay. Opinions are quite divided here. Thank you for that active participation. But an abstract for Africa ELTA has maximum 50 words. You shouldn't go beyond 50 words. You can write below 50 words, but you should not write above 50 words. Because if you go above 50 words, your abstract or your proposal risks being rejected. Good. Now let's talk about the session description, which is the heart of the matter. Okay. When we talk about the session description, what is included? What are we looking for here? Please, I'm anxious to hear from you. What makes up a session description of a conference proposal?
Well, keep sending them, keep sending them, keep sending them. All right. Keep sending them, guys. Okay. For Nyung, I don't know if I pronounce the different stage of the presentation. That's what you write. Who else?
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
How the session will be run. That is Trefol Mvura. Retishi activities during the presentation. Oh, brilliant. What else, guys? What else?
Please keep them coming.
Yeah. Okay, this is Mercy, subheadings of the presentation, 1ID, practical part of the presentation, where this is Godfrey Christian, roadmap of your presentation. Wow, brilliant. How the mode of presentation. Safina, where you're presenting example workshop. Oh, perfect. Back to you.
Excellent responses. I love that. I'm loving it. Yes. So people have talked about the roadmap, people have talked about the workshop, how your presentation will be done. Yes. The session description is it contains the plan. And in this plan, we have our objectives. What will you be doing? You have a step-by-step description of what will be happening in your session. What will you do in the beginning? What will you do in the middle? What will you do at the end? What will the audience be doing? You need to say that in the session description. So you need to be clear. I should be able, as a reviewer, for example, when I read your proposal, I should be able to have a clear picture of what your presentation is going to be like. I can see you, picture you from the beginning, what you do from the beginning, what you do. Like it's how it unfolds. You need to say that clearly. So you start by setting your objectives. What do you set out to achieve? You say that clearly, and then you say how you are going to achieve the objective or the set objectives, the roadmap. I like that word that someone used. Yes. And then you need to talk about the participant benefits. What is it that the attendees will gain? What will people learn from attending your session? Remember that it is the heart of your proposal. It is because people think that they are going to learn something new that they attend your session. So you need to be very clear on what participants are going to benefit or what they are going to take away from your session, and you do that in the session description. Perfect. And in what terms do we write the session description, please? Let's hear from you.
All right. Okay. I see on the chat here. Okay. Who wanna go first? Okay, simple future. This is Naitwe, the detail of a paper note. Okay, this one, Lovelin. Future tense. Okay, what else? We use the future tense, that is sincere, future tense mwanaidi, Danson future tense, simple future tense Peter. Oh, wow, nice. Amida,
Yes.
future tense. Hamed, future tense. Oh, wow, wonderful. Back to you.
Thank you. Yes, thank you very much. So we use the simple future tense because the simple future tense, why? Because you will be talking about your talk is it's what you will be doing during that session. So you're telling us what you will be doing. So it's in the future. And what about the number of words? What about the number of words?
Wow. What are the number of words on session description? Okay, Godfrey, 300 words. We have Trefort Mvula 250, Mwanaidi 250, Samarato 300 words. Okay, brilliant. Victoria, not more than 250. Chuma Majaliwa 250. Wow, Jibel 250. Zini 250. Amazing. Wow, I see.
Yeah.
Back to you.
Right. Yes, 250. 250 words for session description for Africa ELTA conferences. And then we have the last part of our conference proposal, which is references. And what style sheets do we use? Do we use APA? Do we use MLA? Or which one? There's so many of them.
Okay, here we go. Who starts? Okay. Uh, Tata APA method for referencing. Very good.
Okay.
Yehunie APA. We have Tina APA. Mercy APA. Howard APA. Chuma APA. So a lot of answers on the APA
Yeah.
style. Okay.
APA. Yes. And everyone got it right. APA. Yeah. That's good. All right. Thank you so much for that excellent participation. Um, let's move to the next slide. Okay, so this is just a summary of what we were talking about. The title, 10 words maximum. We have title case, capitalizing the keywords, and then the abstract, which is a summary to be written in 50 words maximum and in the simple present tense. And then the session description, we are talking about giving a detailed description of the session, the aims, the plan, how your session will unfold, and the participant benefits. Please, just to remind you that you should take note of these elements that we are discussing because we're going to have some sort of practical session. We will have a sample conference proposal where we would need to identify what are the different parts of that proposal. So please, you may even want to take notes so that you participate during that when we get to that activity. Good. So let's look at the components of a session description in detail. Um, your session description, we would need to have the context or background. When we talk about context or background, we mean you need to situate your proposal. What are you talking about? Is it EFL? Is it ESL? Is it teacher education? What is your proposal about? You need to situate us. The context, it could be in terms of location, it could be in terms of the particular area, maybe in TESOL, in English language teaching. You need to situate us. Very important. You need to give a background. So you don't just start telling us what you will be doing. No, you need to give us some background information where you are coming from because there are so many perspectives of looking at one thing. So you need to provide us with background information. And then literature review is very important. You need to talk about previous research, what has been done. When you want to do a presentation, it is certainly because you have realized that there is something that is lacking, or that there is a particular way of doing something that may be different from the way other people have been doing it, or you want to say something that is different from what other people have been doing it, or something has been done in one context and you want to adapt it so it can be done in another context. And for you to do this, you need to tell us what has been done. What have people done before you? And then when you establish the literature, then you're able to indicate what is lacking from the literature. What is that gap that you want to fill? What is that new thing that you are coming um, to contribute in that field? When we talk about new, we're not saying that you need to go and invent something that someone has never talked about or that someone has never done in their classroom. No, it is just being able to identify something that you feel is relevant that might have been done differently or that you do differently in your classroom practice or in your research. And then we have the aims. In your session description, you would need to say exactly what you want to achieve at the end of your presentation. What do you set out to achieve? What are your goals? What are your objectives? Very important. And you need to say that clearly. And then the plan. We talked about the session plan. Someone talked about the roadmap to follow. How will your presentation unfold? What will you be doing? What will the participants be doing? Very important. And then the participant benefits, which simply tells us about what the attendees will benefit, what they'll gain, what people will learn. If you are talking about maybe a technology tool that you've used in your classroom, you should be able to teach people how to use it in their own classrooms. That is what people want to learn. So those are the elements that make up a session description. And all of these must be found in your session description when you submit your proposal. And then these aspects that we've talked about, these are the initial things that you want to do when you pick up your pen or your laptop to write your conference proposal. Now, after you have drafted your conference proposal, there are other things that you need to consider. Very important. You've written your proposal. Under what session does it fall? Africa ELTA has a number of sessions, that make up the conference. The first one is the research tips, and it usually runs for 30 minutes, 25 minutes presentation, and 5 minutes question and answer. And this session focuses on research. For example, there are people who are interested in research, maybe in academia. You've written an article, you've published an article, or you've written a thesis on an aspect in TESOL, and you want to share your research findings with your audience. It falls under this session. Or we have teaching approaches. Maybe you want to talk about how the content-based instruction works in your context. It falls under this session called research tips. So it is important for you to make sure that your proposal aligns with a particular session type when you're submitting. And then we have another session type, which is a workshop. It runs for 45 minutes, 40 minutes presentation, and 5 minutes question and answer. Workshops are hands-on. So it's something that you want to get the audience do something. You want to teach them how to do something. They could assume the role of students or teachers during your session. And a workshop can be done by one or more people. Good. And then we have panel discussions, and panel discussions are the longest. They run for 90 minutes, 8 minutes presentation or discussion, and then 10 minutes question and answer. And panel discussions would generally focus on any topic that is of relevance in English language teaching, where different people, it would usually be from three to five people or maybe more. People have different perspectives from which they want to tackle a particular issue. And the aim is for them to bring these different perspectives and then say how the theory and the practice go together. So it is not just talking about the theoretical aspects of it, but they also include the practical implications of the discussions. That is what panel discussions do. And then the last session type that we have for Africa ELTA conferences, which is one of the most interesting, we have storytelling. We have many storytellers in the house. It runs for 15 minutes, 10 minutes presentation, and then 5 minutes question and answer. It can be any story of your choice, an engaging story, but you should make sure that your story has practical implications. Practical implications for teaching, or it could have moral lessons implications for your students or for colleagues. It should not just be a story for the sake of the story, but it should have some implications. Perfect. Now, we move to the next one of the most important elements when you are submitting your proposal, which is the proposal evaluation rubric. When you're writing an exams and you know exactly how you are going to evaluate it, it is a very good thing. The Africa ELTA has made available the proposal evaluation rubric to potential a proposal conference presenters. So before you submit your proposal, please make sure that you carefully, diligently go through the proposal evaluation rubric and be sure that your proposal aligns with all the criteria that has been listed. The first one we have is relevance and currency of the topic. Now, when we talk about relevance and currency, how important is the topic you're presenting or you're proposing to the committee? How current? Currency has to do with what are the recent developments? What are the key issues in terms of what you want to talk about? For example, now a lot of people or a lot of research not just research in English language teaching. There is a lot of talk about instructional technology integration in the classroom, most especially artificial intelligence. I think that is one of the most current topics in the field of English language teaching and in every other field now. So we need to see how current your topic is. What are the developments, the understandings in the field? And for you to be evaluated, you're graded between 0 and 3. 0 is the least mark and 3 is the highest mark that you would have. So if you have a proposal that does not meet a particular criterion at all, you would be rated 0. And that is how it follows. So if your topic is relevant and it is current, you would be rated high. But if it is not, so we have 0 here. Let me just read the way it is. If your topic is not current, and if the content is not interesting or is not interesting to teachers or researchers, you would be rated 0. I would like to emphasize that currency of your topic can also be determined by the literature that you use. So the literature that you use to establish your research or your proposal can equally help to determine the currency of your topic. But it doesn't mean that you cannot use literature that is old. You can, but most of the time, current issues would have recent literature. And the second one, which is a grade mark, which is 1, the topic is somewhat current. So, it is kind of current, not really. And the content might be of interest to teachers and researchers. You're somewhere in the middle between current and not current, interesting and not interesting. And then two, the Mac 2, we have the topic is current and the content would be of definite interest to either English teachers or researchers. So one of these groups may be interested in your topic, not the two of them, but one of them. And then for three, your topic is very current. It is very relevant, and it would be of great interest to both teachers, English language teachers, and researchers. The next one we have is clarity of session description and outcomes. We just talked about session description now, and we talked about the types of sessions. And for you to score zero, it means that for the second criterion, it means that your proposal is inappropriate for the session type. Remember that you can write a good proposal, but you submit it under a wrong session, you would be scored zero. I said that earlier and I'm still emphasizing. So make sure you check that you're submitting your proposal under the right session type. And you would also be scored zero if the session description is vague and the objectives are not clearly stated or implied. So if I read your session description and I'm wondering, what would this presenter be doing? How would they begin their presentation? What would the participants benefit? What is even their objective? What do they set out to achieve? I'm not clear. I don't know exactly what you will be doing. So you would have zero. And then for you to score one, maybe your proposal is appropriate to the session type. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. You're somewhere in the middle. And your session description allows for general understanding of the topic, and the objectives and participants' outcomes are implied but not explicitly stated, or maybe too general or broad to be achievable. So you're not very specific about what you're going to be doing, and then you may set objectives that you cannot achieve. Remember that each session has got an amount of time. If you have maybe a session of 30 minutes, for example, and then you say that at the end of the presentation, participants will be able to design a 50-minute lesson plan. Is it achievable? No. You've got just 30 minutes for your presentation. How many minutes will you use to do the presentation proper? And then how many minutes would you allow for participants to design a 50-minute lesson plan? It is not achievable. So you need to state your aims, taking into consideration the session type and the amount of time allocated to you and the things that you can actually realize during the session. And then we have to here the session or it is appropriate to the session type. Your proposal is appropriate to the session type, and it allows for specific understanding of the topic and the objectives, and participant outcomes are stated or implied, but may lack sufficient focus. So at this level, yes, you are specific. Your objectives are they are clear, but not very, they do not have a particular focus. And for you to score 3, your session needs to be appropriate to the session type. Your objectives need to be very specific and clear. And the participant outcomes need to be clearly stated with a clear focus of what you will be doing. That is when you would be graded with the mark of 3. And then we have the next criterion, which is evidence of theory practice link. We talked about being able to refer to literature, to talk about the theoretical a background of your topic. It is very important. But remember that we are teachers and we're not talking about things in the air. We need to talk about things that can be practiced, that are practical, or how we can actually try them in our classrooms. So when you have established your literature, your theory, you need to show the link between that literature and what is practiced. So you can do it in two ways. You indicate maybe your literature, you get evidence from your literature by referencing relevant research or best practices, and then you show how this practice can be implemented either in the classroom during your teaching, if you're talking about an aspect that has to do with teaching, or maybe during training sessions if it is about teacher education, or it is about using a particular method or using a particular tool. It can be anything, but we need to see the clear link between the theory and practice. Don't just tell us that, okay, content-based learning is good because it allows the learner to do this and that, but you do not pin down to the practical aspect of it. We need to see how theory and practice are related. So when there is no link between these two, you would score 0. And if your proposal lacks a clear link between theory and practice, you have 1. And if there is some evidence of research and theory support, and practice, you have 2. And if there is clear evidence between theory and practice, yes, you would score 3. And then the last criterion that we'll talk about is the quality of proposal as indicator of presentation quality. At this level, we are looking at language. How have you written your proposal? Is it well written? We imagine, we want to believe that if you write your proposal in good language, it is clearly written, there is coherence, there is clarity, we would assume that you would have a good presentation. But if the language of the proposal used is not good, there is no coherence, there is lack of clarity, it may suggest that that presentation would be a poor one. And so you're likely going to score 0. But if the language used in the proposal suggests that the presentation may be uneven or of moderate quality, this means that, okay, your language maybe is kind of coherent, but not really, not so clear, you score a 1. And if the language used suggests in the proposal suggests that the presentation will be of an acceptable quality, remember that when we talk about language use, we're looking at the grammar, we're looking at the punctuation. You want to make sure that there are no grammatical infelicities in your proposal. It is always good that when you finish writing, you can give it to another person to read for you, because sometimes when you write a piece yourself, you're unable to figure out some mistakes because you are the one who did the writing. Giving it to someone else to proofread is always very important so that you avoid language issues that may result in proposal rejection. And 3, when the language, the proposal is well written, there is coherence, there is clarity, no grammatical issues, we understand or we imagine that your proposal is going to be a good one and that your presentation is going to be well delivered. Because what you write, the way you write, I think it determines your presentation. All right, so that is that about the proposal evaluation rubric. Very important. Before you submit your proposal, please make sure you go back, take each criterion, go through it, look at your proposal, and be sure that it respects each of them to the latter. All right, here we have a sample proposal, and we begin with the topic and the abstract. And the topic we have here is social emotional learning for success in TESOL. We're looking at social emotional learning check-ins. And I would love someone, the audience, maybe you want to unmute yourself and tell us, taking into consideration what we have talked about, the title, what do you think about this title? Is it a good one? Is it how what do you think about what are your impressions about the topic? Maybe someone from the audience, you can unmute yourself and tell us. Or maybe you could raise your hand and the moderator would be there to see you.
Okay. Well, Hamed, please unmute yourself and let us know. Thank you for being the first to raise up your hand.
Okay,
Go ahead.
thank you so much. Thank you so much, YIVIRI. Based on the characteristics that you mentioned about the topic, I would say that the content words in the topic are beginning with capital letters like the socio, emotional, learning, success, practical, check-ins. So the content words are beginning with capital letters. Then the abbreviations like TESOL are all in capital letter. Socio-emotional learning is also in capital letter in its abbreviation. So I would say those two things. Mhm. So maybe I should allow others to say something else.
Okay. All right.
Okay. In my bank, who else wanna
Okay.
go? I don't see anybody else.
Please,
Okay.
it's time for
Okay.
practice.
There's one here. Yihune, I don't know if I'm just pronouncing your name well. Alem Mayehu. Come on, jump in.
Okay, thank you very much for pronouncing my name. You pronounced it correctly, and thank you for your lovely presentation, the presenter. When I come to the topic of this proposal, I see it from the practical aspect of the idea. To be successful in TOESL, particularly in the speaking section, the socio-emotional attachment with interviewer is very important. So studying the socio-emotional learning techniques that are used to be successful in TESOL is very important. So the topic is very practical. Thank you.
Yevil, I don't know if the time is on our side, but we have two hands. Yeah, we have Zini and Teta. If you can allow maybe one or both of them, it's okay.
Okay. Maybe just
Yeah.
some
Okay.
some seconds. Yeah.
Yeah. Very quick to Zini. Would you just come first, then Tater?
Okay, hello, can you hear me? Hello?
5-on-5.
Yeah, perfectly. Go ahead.
All right. Based on what I've learned this evening from the presentation, I think the title meets the criterion that she has taught us because I've counted the words, there are about 10 of them. Thank you.
Right, brilliant. Tata, would you just do it in a few seconds, please?
Well, I wanted to say the same thing like the previous student did.
All right, back to you, Yevil.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for those brilliant answers. Yes, the topic is it's current social emotional learning. I think it's one of the issues that are highly talked about in English language teaching now. It has not more than 10 words. The content words are capitalized. Yes, it is good one. And then we have the abstract there. And it says, this session explores the crucial role of social emotional learning in English language classrooms. During this interactive session, attendees will be engaged in hands-on activities to practice different social emotional learning check-ins, thereby practicing their ability to support students' emotional well-being and success. Yes. Okay, so the abstract, maybe quickly one person. Let's get one person from the audience to quickly comment that abstract. What do you think?
All right, Danson, and then Zini, you still just raising your hand. I don't know if the first one. Okay, Danson, go ahead.
Well, I'll say that first, the abstract gives an overview of what the session is going to be about. Then secondly, it indicates some of the activities that the attendees will do, that is the hand-on activities. And then also we have the expectations that are going to be met in that particular session. That is what the attendees will expect to gain from that particular session. Thank you.
Brilliant, Danson, brilliant. Justin, maybe in a few seconds also you want to say something?
Yes, sir. I have a question.
Okay, so you can just hold on for the question that we can answer at the end, or maybe the next slide can answer. Jumanne, would you like just to go for the description abstract?
Yeah, actually, it was like thank you very much, by the way. I thought it's like this abstract, I can see that it has carried a grain of weight. It's good, by the way. But I had something to ask you before, though I had that you have just stored someone that I has to wait up to the end. So should I ask you or should I wait also? Hello?
You can put your question on.
Oh, all right. Okay. So now when counting
you
about
can put your question.
Okay.
You can put the question in the chat, Jumanne. Thank you. We can answer at the end. All right, back to you,
Okay.
YIVIRI.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so very much. Yes. Yes, the observations are okay. Yes, the session, it is written, the abstract is written in a simple present tense. Even though we have somehow the simple future tense, because it says it kind of jumps into describing what the presenter is going to be doing, which is still very okay. It is still very fine. You could use that tense too. So it is not very strict. It may depend on what exactly you are saying in your abstract. And then we go to a sample session description. So quickly, we look at the different elements in terms of evaluation rubric. And let's look at the first line. Recently, significant attention has focused on social emotional learning as a crucial component of modern, this is essential for creating inclusive and supportive classroom environments. You see, that first line there, what does it do? It tells us about well, Mama, how much time do we have, please? Does it allow us
Yeah,
to
I know
continue
it's a lot.
having the
It's a
interaction with
lot.
the
Yeah, it's a lot. I know we are now exceeding the time is already exceeded. We wanted just to do it in an hour, so maybe
okay.
we can add maybe 10 to 15 minutes if
Minutes.
people would try to hold on for that.
Okay, all right.
So yeah, you can do that in that time, please.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So we see that from the first line already indicates the relevance of the topic. It talks about how the currency. It's recently, many people are interested. There's a lot of attention that has focused on social emotional learning. And then it goes ahead to talk about research that has been used in that session proposal, research in social emotional learning does not, I'm not sure, I can't see the research. What comes after research, Mahamba? I'm not sure why I can't see research.
Research highlights.
Okay, research
Thank you.
highlights that. Okay, thank you very much. So research highlights that social emotional learning does not only foster academic success, but also teaches students to understand their emotions, build and maintain positive relationships, and improve class. So, and it is giving references what previous studies have said. And it continues to do that. Social emotional learning is particularly important in TESOL, where there's integrating social emotional learning check-ins can help students to navigate, this. So it makes reference to a lot of literature that has been said about social emotional learning. And then it comes here now, even though it is still making reference to literature. And then, providing a space for learners to express their feelings is crucial for overall well-being. There, it is still referring to literature, what previous research is saying, that it is important for learners to be given a space to express their feelings in the classroom. And then it moves now to state the aims of the session. What will the session be doing? What are the objectives? The session aims to discuss the importance of social emotional learning check-ins and equip teachers with practical social emotional learning check-in techniques that they can use or that they can adapt in their classrooms. So we've seen the first line gives us an idea about the relevance, about the currency, and then the next lines tell us about research that has already been done in social emotional learning and the importance of integrating social emotional learning in our classrooms. And then the research or the proposal comes in to equip teachers with practical check-ins, practical strategies that teachers can use to integrate or to incorporate social emotional learning in their classrooms. And then the next part of it, we have the presentation is divided into three parts. First, the presenter briefly talks about the importance of social emotional learning check-ins in the classroom. The second part is hands-on, engaging participants in various social emotional learning check-in activities. And then it goes ahead to name the different activities like emotion wheels. So the participants, we are told about what the presenter will be doing. We are told about what the presenter will be doing and what the participants will also be doing. And we can see that chronology. It is clearly stated that it is in three parts. First, the presenter will do this. Second, this is what the presenter and the participants will be doing. And that these activities will help attendees to understand how to adapt and apply them in different teaching contexts and age groups. So it means that these social emotional learning check-ins that will be discussed during this session may be useful in certain contexts that teachers may have to adapt to fit their own context. It is clearly stated. And then participants will leave the session with a toolbox of social emotional learning check-ins that they can use to create a more engaging and supportive classroom environment. So they know exactly what they are going to do in the session, and they know exactly what they are going to learn, the benefits, clearly stated. And then the last part of it says that it will end with a question and answer session. So there is going to be time for participants to ask questions and for their worries to be clarified.
All right, Yvel, it's already 7 p.m. GMT, and you have just 5 minutes to wrap it up, and then we can allow 10 minutes for question and answers, please.
Thank you very much. So here we have a sample rejection feedback. I'm going to quickly go through it. We received more than twice the number of proposals that we could accommodate, and I regret to inform you that the proposal titled this has not been accepted. Your proposal might have failed because of one of following reasons. Your study has not commenced, your reported study is inconclusive, and your proposal lacks clarity and session outcome. Your session description lacked detail, and your proposal failed to meet the requirements of the review rubric. All right. So that you just know exactly some of the things that you need to do. This one says professionals submitted far more proposals than we could accept. The plan for the session is unclear. It does not align with the conference theme or sub-themes. It is written in a manner that is unclear and does not explain why the topic is needed. It does not provide clear participant outcomes. So these are some of the reasons. This is some examples of feedback that some people received after submitting their proposals because they did not respect the rubrics that we just talked about. All right. And just to say that the each conference has its themes. We have the main theme, and then we have the sub themes. And always try as much as possible to make sure that your presentation aligns with any of the main theme or the sub themes. But we could also accept proposals that do not specifically fall under the sub themes or the main theme if they are deemed relevant in English language teaching. Yep, and I think that is the end of my presentation. Yeah, Muhammad, over to you.
Wow, great presentation. I just see a lot of compliments on the chat box. This one says insightful presentation. That is Rondi. Thank you. Well, this great presentation, Yuval, Leticia. Wow, amazing. Good job. Great presentation. Zini, wow, this is mind shifting. Brilliant. Thank you for sharing these great secrets. That is who that. Amazing. There's a lot of compliments on my chat box. I can read all because time is on my side. Yeah. Wow. It's now time for question and answers. Now, I'll just have couples of questions here. I got them when we were on the middle of presentation. This one writes, what is the maximum number of reference is recommended? Would you give the answer to that?
I won't say exactly the number of references. I think 1 or 2 references are okay, considering that it is just a short, it may be just a short presentation, but you may want to include even 2 to 4. But of course, you don't want to bring in too much literature. We just need literature to establish that background, to tell us that you know where you're coming from. There is this thing that has already been done, and this is what I am coming to add to it. So there is really no limit, but you don't want to saturate your remember that you do not even have so many words. And so if you include a lot of literature, it may take up a lot of words that you would have used in your session description. So yeah.
All right, cool. Well, I also recognize the presence of advisors here, Africa Health Advisors Conference Committee members. You guys can also add something to this presentation. In that courtesy of respect, I want to invite you, Okon. You have a question or you have a reaction?
I just want to add to what YIVIRI has said. When she mentioned currency and citations, that it's not mandatory that you must use a current reference to support your proposal. So for those people who are submitting workshops or teaching approaches or storytelling, it's possible to link this to second language acquisition theories. You can look at the interaction hypothesis by Long, output hypothesis by Swan, sociocultural theory Vygotsky, behaviorist theory Skinner, cognitive theory Anderson, or even input hypothesis and affective filter by Krashen. These are very old theories, but they may be relevant and a good link to your session that you want to give. And because we're also struggling to access quality journals in Africa, I will advise potential presenters to go to academia, Google Scholar, Semantic Scholars, or ResearchGate, or even open educational resources, and they can find lots of things that they can use to support their proposals. And in terms of trends, there's so many. I mean, you've mentioned social-emotional learning. There's blended learning, there's translanguaging, gamification, mobile learning, adaptive technologies, multicultural inclusion, task-based, and now artificial intelligence. So gamification doesn't necessarily mean it has to be high-tech computer games or something technology. In the African ELTA membership forum, somebody posted an African game that the children were just jumping on the ground. That's gamification. So you can link it to any of these theories. You'll still be able to submit a good proposals. Thank you very much.
Brilliant, brilliant. Thank you for unfolding that, Okon. Well, now I can invite the landline, the hands online, please. You can just raise up your hand. Those who rose their hands, it's now time. Jumanne, we have also Celie, Dixon. So who wanna go first? Let's start with Celie, then Jumanne. Okay, go straight to the question, please. Celie?
Okay, good evening, everyone. My question is, does Africa ELTA accept only academic proposals?
All right, thank you. You want to react to that?
Sure.
Okay.
So when you talk about academic proposals, I would say no. Remember that Africa ELTA conference is for English language teachers. So we're not just about academia. We focus on best classroom practices. You may have something that you do in your classroom that you want to share with your colleagues. Yes, it is not just about academia. It's not about research, like scientific research. It is not about scientific research. But of course, people who are involved in scientific research may want to share their research findings. It is still fine. But then you can also submit your proposal about your classroom practices, how you teach grammar, how you teach vocabulary, how you integrate technology in your classroom, or how you integrate multilingual education in your classroom, content-based, just anything that you do in your classroom. It may be a story that you want to tell that has practical implications for teaching. It is not limited to academia. I hope that answers your question.
Brilliant, brilliant. Well, Studio One has already allotted me with the time, and I'm always afraid. Maybe we take one question, please. Trefol, would you be very brief into the question, please?
Thank
Trefol?
you. Good evening.
Okay.
Yes. Good evening,
go ahead.
everyone. Yes, I have 3 questions here. I'll rush very fast. Question number 1: how do we count the words from the parts, like abstract or this session description, something like that?
Okay.
Yeah. Question number 2:
Next.
is it allowed to write below the words below the number recommended. For example, you have the abstract of 10 words. Then can you write below that one? Is it accepted? And the last one, the last question is where do we write the references? Do we write during in the session description or at the end of the session? And do we have the part there within the proposal? Because the proposal has got the format itself. These
Thank
three
you.
questions that I have. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Right.
You. Your reaction,
All right.
Yvette.
Thank you very much. I'll just answer the questions the way they come to my mind. Just to say that, yes, you can write below the number of words. What we don't want is for you to go above the number of words. Your abstract would be 30 words. If you think that it says enough about it, it gives a good summary of your presentation, it is fine. Your session description could be 200 words. If you think that it clearly captures your session, it is okay, but do not go above that. And then talking about references, references would come after your session description. Mahamba, I'm not sure if on the submission, and references do not count, please, for the number of words. When you're counting the number of words, references do not count. Do not include that. And then what was the other question? The first question.
I think, how do you count? He was asking, how do you count words?
So I mean, so what I generally do is that I would write my abstract in a different Word document so that I mean, like you could just write in a different Word document, and as you write it, you get that would be the most traditional way of doing it. You see the word count right there in front of you. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. Studio One has already alerted me, and I'm always afraid. It's now 12 minutes past the hour. So let's give a big round of applause, virtual applause to YIVIRI. You can just pat your back as we celebrate. But again, remember. Okay, so again, remember that you can still send your question on the Africa ELTA WhatsApp page, where we can keep on attempting them. And you also send through the email. What is our email? Africa ELTA email? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we have
Africa
also the
ELTA
email.
conference@gmail.com.
Perfect. We can also react to that. So on that note, I want to thank you so much, YIVIRI. Thank you, my participants from different parts of Africa and also elsewhere around the world. You highlighted very much on the components, of the of our proposal. You talked of the session types. You hit the nail on the rubrics part, where you talked of relevance, clarity, evidence, and quality, which really backs up how you can write a very compelling kind of proposal. You gave us a sample and also rejection, which I'm always afraid. Well, thank you. Let's keep the hope of Africa ELTA 2025 conference alive. Stay better, not bitter, teachers, leaders, and educators. Well, on that note, I want to say thank you now and see you some other times, maybe when we'll be having such kind of conference. Bye for now. And on the moderation part, my name is Mahamba Sebastian from Tanzania, Africa ELTA Vice President, and also the host, conference co-chair 2025. Welcome in Tanzania. See you 2025. Bye for now.
Welcome to the tea land, guys. We can't wait to meet you there.
All right. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Karibu Tanzania, kuna matata.
Bongo, welcome.